Welcome to Be More Yogic. My name's Amanda D, and today I'm going to talk you through how to walk up and down the wall into wheel pose, Chakrasana, which is also known as upward facing bow, Urdhva Dhanurasana. When we practice bow, it will help to strengthen our shoulders, arms, legs, and our back. But also it creates the necessary space within the ribs so that you can really expand your lungs, taking more oxygen so that you keep your cells of the body healthy. It also creates a lot of flexibility, which is needed in the spine to keep it healthy and young. So we're going to start by coming onto the floor. Make sure you have a block, a strap, and you also want a blanket or a towel like I'm using to pad up your knees. So let me just show you the curves of the spine just before we begin so it makes more sense. So if you look at my spine, it's made of a wavy line. So we have the lumbar curve going in, we have the thoracic spine going out, and then the neck spine again goes in. When you're doing Bandha practice, which is one of the things that was mentioned in the Yoga Sutras, there's a few other poses that are mentioned in there, but it's mainly the bandhas. What you're trying to do is you're trying to take those curves out the spine and literally lengthen the spine. So with bandha practice, you need to draw the sideways back to flatten out the lumbar curve. You need to take the thoracic spine forward so that you flatten out the thoracic curve, and then the chin has to pull back towards the throat to flatten out the neck spine, and then you reach up. So you create that lengthening of the spine. So we're going to come down onto our backs. You want your arms alongside your body. You're going to graze the back of the heel. I'm just going to move forward so I can reach my arms above my head, so I'm not touching the wall. So arms alongside your body, graze the back of the heel with the middle finger, and just make sure your feet are about sit bone distance apart, about fist distance. Now to warm up the spine, we're going to press the lower back down into the floor so you flatten out the lumbar curve. Start to curl the tail up and inhale, reach your arms above your head. And then as you exhale, you're going to roll down the spine, vertebra by vertebra, arms alongside your body. You have to kind of curl your tail at the last moment to release the lower back into the floor. And again, flatten out the lumbar curve, curl your tail up. Inhale, arms up alongside your ears. Keep your knees hugging in so your knees aren't winging out and the thighs roll down. Exhale, roll yourself down through the spine, arms alongside your body. A few more times. Inhale, rolling up, vertebra by vertebra. Exhale, rolling down. Inhale, rolling up. And exhale, rolling down. So I'm just going to show you this first. We're going to do Kalabati breath, which is done by snapping the belly in with every exhalation. It almost feels like you're blowing out 1,000 candles through your nose. So there's a lot of push of the belly pulling back to press the air out. And the inhalation, try not to think about it, just pop the belly out like you're making your belly like a big balloon. So if you just watch this area for a moment, and you're going to see the scooping in of my navel, which is Uddiyana Bandha. The navel flies down towards the spine and up towards my heart. And when I keep my arms above my ears, what that's doing is that is moving the thoracic spine forward, like we wanted to do when we wanted to flatten out the middle spine. And it keeps my chest open. So I'll just do the Uddiyana Bandha. So I take an inhalation. Actually, I'll just pull this up so you can see a little better. You can see my belly. I expel the air. I empty everything out. So I was flattening out my lumbar curve. My heart is open because my arms are above my head. And then I drew my chin in towards my throat to flatten out the neck spine. And then I suction the navel in and up. So let's do the full sequence. Pull this back down. You should feel like a vacuum happening in the belly. So inhale, lift the hips, lift the arms. Stay there, expel the air out of the mouth. Inhale halfway through the nose. Kalabati breath, short, sharp exhalation through the nose. So keep that going as I talk. I want you to keep the inner thighs rolling down, lift the lower buttocks up a little higher, lengthening the tail, ground down through the inner heels. Keep going. Keep going another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Slow it down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a full deep breath in. Expel the air out the mouth. Empty, empty, empty until nothing's left. Roll your lower back to the floor. Stay empty. Press your lower back into the earth. Chin to your throat. Retain. Try to puff out your chest a little more. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift the chin, release the locks, and let the breath come in. Arms alongside your body. Let's do that again. Press into your feet. Inhale, lift your hips up, arms alongside your ears. Exhale softly through the mouth to begin. Inhale halfway through the nose. Kalabati breath, short, sharp exhalations through the nose. Slow it down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a full breath in. Expel the air out of the mouth. Empty, empty, empty. No breath. Roll your lower back to the floor. Stay empty, stay empty. Press the lower back down. Lift the chest towards the chin. Chin towards your throat. Lift the pelvic floor muscles and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the locks and softly let the breath come in. Arms alongside your body. Exhale, just one more of those. Inhale, lift the hips, lift the arms up. Exhale softly through the mouth. Close the lips, inhale halfway through the nose. Kalabati breath, short, sharp exhalations through the nose. Slow it down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift your hips a little higher. Expel the air out of the mouth. Stay empty. Lower your bottom down to the floor. Stay empty. Press the lower back into the earth. Lift your pelvic floor muscles, chin to your throat. Lift your chest to your chin. Suction the navel in and up. Gently release the locks and inhale. Exhale the arms alongside your body. You're going to take your hands onto your thighs. As you push your hands into your thighs, the thighs push back into your hands. Now we're just traction out your lower back. Then hug your knees in. And then rock yourself all the way up. So now you're going to take your 2 blocks, bring them to the sides of your mat, take your blanket against the wall. So this is going to protect your knees. Now if you have knee issues, you might not want to put your shin up the wall. You can just do regular crescent lunge or regular high lunge without the knee on the floor. Otherwise, have the blocks to either side, walk your feet back, wrists underneath your shoulders. You're going to slide your right knee back against the wall so the knee is on the floor. And then from here, take your hands onto the blocks, which will help you get a little bit more height. So you can step your left foot forward. Now I want you to press your bottom back towards the heel. You should never feel any pain in the knee. If you do, come out of it. If you've got more room, climb yourself up onto your front leg. If you still have more room, I want you to press your bottom back towards the wall. Try to drop this left hip down. It's going to want to hike up on you. You can slide 1 block next to the outer left hip. Press your toenails into the wall, which will create a little bit of stability into that quad and into the foot. Breathe. Feel like this leg is just dangling down. Try to soften the quad muscle, the front of the thigh, as much as possible. Keep pulling the belly back. This can be pretty intense. So try to breathe into the muscle. We're never stretching the muscle, we're just trying to relax it using the breath. And then the length will find itself. If you want to go a little deeper, you can take your left hand onto the block. Take the right arm alongside your ear and take it into a side stretch. You'll feel it all the way up from your tip of your fingers all the way down to the front, that thigh to the knee. But again, you don't want any pain in the knee. Lean back. And then we're going to come forward. Press your hips forward. Keep lifting through the belly, curling your tail between your legs. Squeeze your legs in towards each other. Either stay here or reach your arms up. Reach through the fingers. Heart reaches forward, tail lengthens, legs squeeze in. Maybe reaching your thumbs back towards the wall. Keep lifting. Some of you might bend your elbows and try to reach for your toes. If you feel it in your lower back, come straight out of it. Keep lifting the heart up. And then slowly release, hands onto your blocks. We take this leg down first, the front leg, and then you slide your right knee forward. Give your hips a little wiggle. Let's take that to the other side. So feet against the wall. Slide your knee back so the knee is close to the wall and your shin's raising up. Now, if this is a lot, you can also take the knee forward. I didn't say this on the other side, but just know you can have the knee a little more forward, and that will take out some of the stretch of the quad if it's pretty intense for you. Again, turn your blocks up so you've got that space to bring your right foot forward. Either stay in here, pressing your bottom back, or come up higher, hands onto the thigh. Some of you can press your bottom all the way back to the heel. Drop your right sit bone down. Trying to keep your hip points level to the floor. Pull the belly back. Press your toenails into the wall. And again, just keep thinking of this thigh melting. A few more breaths. Come forward with your hips now. Pull the navel back. Squeeze your front leg towards your back knee and vice versa. Lift your arms up. Reach through the fingers so your biceps squeeze into the side of the ears, shoulders relaxed. Heart goes forward, tail lengthens into that space, and you reach forward and up. Thumbs towards the wall. Either stay here, or some of you can bend your elbows and reach back towards your toe. Think more about lifting the heart up. Walk your hands up the wall, and then slowly your front foot knee comes down first, and then slide your back leg forward. Take a moment to sit on your heels just to feel that. Give the quads a little bit of a squeeze. And now we need to open up the shoulders, preparing us for wheel pose. So you can take the blanket out of the way. Now I want you to take your hands shoulder distance apart. Have your hands slightly forward of your shoulders. Walk your feet back. And now you're going to start to roll your biceps up. Roll your triceps down so you have the outward rotation of your arms. So it's almost like you're trying to face your armpits towards each other. And then melt through like you would for down dog. Lift through the lower belly, lengthen your tail so you're not collapsing in your lower back. That's the same action in wheel. So this should feel like a wheel pose almost in the top of the body, and you're trying to create that length in the tail even though you're in the full back bend. Look towards the wall and try to melt your heart. Squeeze your triceps in towards each other. Try and widen across the top of the shoulders. Lift through the lower belly a little more. And I would suggest to do this pose rather than coming into wheel awkwardly, because eventually you're going to wear away your shoulders, you're going to damage your wrists. So this is a lot safer to get the opening here first before you start putting weight on your hands. Should feel good. Your shoulders a little wiggle. Then we're going to take, let's start with the left hand. So you're going to take your left hand back. If you think of the wall like a clock face, we've got 12 here, 3, 6, 9. Take your left hand towards the 9. And then you want to move the shoulder head back. So you don't want to be here. You want the shoulder head to move back. You see that? So it's like you're open across the pectoral muscle. Roll the inner elbow up to the ceiling. The wrinkly part of the elbow points down. And then you start to turn your feet towards the front of your mat. Lift the heart. So you're trying to find the back bend, lengthen your tail. And you'll feel a stretch right across the pectoral muscle. Shoulder head moves back a little more. And then release. And then we're just going to do this. So it's a bit of coordination. Cross your arms, clap at the back. And then let's do the other side. Move these off to the side. So now your right hand reaches towards the 3. Be about a foot away from the wall. That shoulder head rolls back, turning the inner elbow up. The wrinkly part of the elbow faces down. And then start to turn in towards the front of the mat. Keep moving the shoulder head back. And then lift the heart. Lengthen your tail. Here we go a little deeper. Move the shoulder head back a tiny bit more. Keep lifting through the front of the hip points. Unwind, release, and then again. Okay, your shoulders should be ready. So we're going to use a block. You're going to get your strap. And you're going to make a loop in the strap. So it's a loop that doesn't come undone. And you want it about armpit distance wide when you hold the loop, just by reaching it across the front of your chest. You're going to take this block between the inner calves and have it on its widest setting. And then you want to come down onto your back. So slide your bottom close to your heels. You don't need to be right next to the wall just yet. We're going to use the wall in a bit. Arms alongside your body. Raise the back of the heel with the middle finger. If you can't touch your heels, slide your feet back until you can. And then you want to turn your toes in. The tendency in wheels that your feet always want to turn out because your butt wants to lift you up, your outer hips grip in, and that just squeezes around your lower back. That's why it can feel awful in your lower back once you come down, which you shouldn't feel that when you're doing it correctly. So your toes turn in, raise the back of the heel with the middle finger. You want to squeeze your block. And now you're going to take your strap. This can be a little bit awkward because it goes across your face, but it's a great tool to teach you how to stop your elbows winging out. As soon as your elbows wing out in wheel, you end up putting pressure onto the shoulders instead of getting the back bend in the upper spine, which is where you want it for healthy alignment. And again, eventually it just wears away your shoulders. So it's better to keep the elbows wrapping in with the strap and going through that point of frustration because you can't get up, rather than doing it incorrectly every time. So now you want to take the strap and bring it around your arms, so it's right in the crease of the elbow, at the bottom of the bicep, so not on the forearm, right on the bicep. But again, when you bend your elbows, it should be kind of digging into the crease. Take your hands next to your ears. Turn your fingers out a little more and spread your fingers wide. You want to feel like you're palming two basketballs, so you're lifting the bonder of the hands, the center of the palm. If you look at this, you want to move your elbows down towards your shoulders, and that's me bringing my shoulder blades on the back. So now I'm supporting my shoulders with my shoulder blades. Press your lower back into the floor, lift through the hips, and then you want to lift the lower buttocks up a little higher. Squeeze your block and soften the inner thighs down towards the floor. So the legs are in an inward spiral. Inner thighs down, outer thighs up. Hip points trying to reach towards each other. Press into your hands and see if you can come onto the crown of the head. Now you see that my elbows are in line with my shoulders. Again, that is the healthy alignment of the shoulders. Move the elbows back towards the shoulder blades. Roll a little more towards your forehead and then press straight up. Try not to move towards your feet. You want to be moving towards the wall. So try to straighten your legs. Press into your fingers. Draw the sides of the neck back. Hip points trying to reach towards each other. Fanning out your lower back. Lift the buttocks a little higher in the lower buttocks. Sit bones towards hamstrings. Straighten your arms all the way. And then to come down, chin in. Your elbows stay close towards each other, which the strap is helping maintaining that. And then roll down. And you'll feel doing back bends, they're really energizing. They bring the heart rate up. It takes you more to the external edges of the body. So then you have to just take a moment to catch your breath. Come back to the center. Okay. So you shouldn't feel anything in your lower back. If you do, just know that you're constantly trying to realign to get that posture so that the back bend is more in the upper vertebra behind the heart center. Now, you keep using the props if you find the elbows winging out, the knees winging out. Like I said, it's not worth doing the pose if you're doing it incorrectly in the body. So we're going to try it now without the props. So hands next to your ears, elbows in. Move the elbows towards the shoulders, towards the front of your mat there, away from the wall. Press your lower back down. Lift your hips up. Lift through the lower tips of the buttocks. The sit bones reach to the hamstrings. Outer hips to outer knees growing longer. Keeping the knees kind of squeezing in without them touching. Press into the fingertips. Come onto the crown of the head. Elbows in. Elbows back towards the shoulders, so the shoulder blades lie flat. Without lifting the head, roll towards the forehead, and then see if you can press straight up. Elbows in, elbows in, elbows in. Now I'm in my spine. It feels great. Try to straighten your legs. Lift the lower buttocks a little higher. Roll your inner thighs down. Press into your fingertips. Draw the sides of the neck back. You're trying to get your shoulders right over your wrist. To come down, bend the elbows. Elbows in, chin to your chest, elbows in, and then roll down. Feet as wide as your mat, let your knees knock. If you feel it in your wrists, try to use your fingers pressing down a little more. Trying to get the weight out of the back of the palm and more into the front of the knuckles. Okay, now we're ready to do the walk up and walk down. Just a little thing, don't hug your knees in between back bends. You don't want to go forward bend, back bend, forward bend, back bend to extreme because it puts a lot of pressure on the spine. So you just want to maintain the back bend until you completely finish the cycle. So curl yourself back towards the wall. If you're still working on getting wheel, just stay there. Don't attempt this. This is once you've got wheel, you can get your shoulders over your wrist. Then you're ready for the next step, taking it step by step. Like I said, you'll get there quicker if you move mindfully and slower, working with the correct alignment rather than trying to rush to get there. So hands next to your ears, fingers turn out, elbows in. So you're right next to the wall. Actually, let's try this on blocks. This will be good. So if you've got 2 blocks, you don't have to use the blocks. You can have them on the wall. This is great if you've got tight shoulders. So you can curl your fingers in front of the block, elbows in, feet nice and aligned, toes turned in. Try to not let your toes turn out. Lift your hips, lift the lower buttocks, elbows down towards the shoulders. Come onto the crown of the head, elbows back to shoulders, press up. Try and press your chest towards the wall. And now maybe you can start to walk up. Ooh, the wall. And then don't move your feet once you're in position, just because then we know we're in the right place to drop back. So from here, if you bring your elbows back like this, it draws the shoulder blades on the back. Lift through the lower belly, lengthen your tail down. So now you feel supported in your lower back. Lift your heart forward and up. Lengthen the tail a little more. Now you want to see the wall first. I'm not going to be able to talk once I'm in position. So you want to see the wall first before you reach for it. So it can be a little scary at first, that first drop back. But you can stand a little closer to the wall and not walk all the way down just until you get over the fear of it. Repetition allows you to feel more confident. So now, eventually, what's going to happen is you keep doing that over and over. Eventually, you move further away from the wall. And then, actually, let's start from the floor. So stand up first, and then we'll drop back. So, elbows in, lift your hips, curl the tail, crown of the head, Press straight up. Now from here to stand up, you have to walk your hands a little closer. You find a rocking motion. You pull the belly in. And then you see if you can stand up. Go in the opposite way. Lift up, lengthen your tail. Elbows back, chin in at first, get the height in the heart. Once you see the floor, lift up, lift up, lift up. And there's the floor. Elbows in. All done. So you're going to extend your left leg long. Interlace your fingers behind the right hamstring. Pull the knee towards you, and as you're pulling the knee in, I want you to push the leg away. Roll that left inner thigh down towards the floor, and then maybe extend the right leg. Again, you're pushing away. It's not about a hamstring stretch. It's about stabilizing the lower back. Pull the leg down towards the hip socket. So you're stabilizing the sacroiliac joint, which is the joint where the spine meets the pelvis. And then if you like, you can draw that leg in a little closer. Keep the natural curve of the lower back. So if you gently push the leg away as you're pulling it in, that should help maintain that. If your lower back curls up like this, you're not really doing much. So hamstring presses down, natural curve of the lower back. Pull the right hip away from your right armpit. The work in the left leg and the thigh rolls down. Hug the knee in. Push the knee into the hand as you pull it in. And then extend the right leg. Draw the left knee in, hold on to the back of the hamstring. Roll your right inner thigh down, press through the heel. As you pull the knee in, push the leg away. Again, stabilizing the sacroiliac joint. Maybe you can extend the leg. Same thing, push the leg away from you. Pull the leg down into the socket. Roll your right inner thigh to the floor. Maybe now into the hamstring stretch. As you pull the leg towards you, gently press it away. Natural lumbar curve. Should be able to drive a little toy car underneath the lower back. Top of the right hamstring pressing down. Otherwise, move the leg away from you until you can do that. You can also use a strap. Left hip away from left armpit. And then place your feet to the floor. You want to feel like you're bouncing a basketball. Oops. Lift and lower the hips. And again, this is just realigning the sacrum, the sacroiliac joint, the sacrum bone. And then draw the knees in wide. Either stay here, happy baby. Once again, you're trying to keep the natural curves of the spine, so don't let the lower back roll up like this. Heels right over your knees. Knees wider than your armpits. Feet to the floor, lift your hips up, move your hips over to the right side of your mat. Draw your knees in, arms out to a T shape, knees over to the right. Now if you take a quick glance up, your nose should be in line with your right hip. If it's not, move the hips back. You want to ground down your right shoulder, so you might have to lift that right knee a little bit. And then just allow the weight to dangle down. Curl your shoulders more towards the back of the mat, and that right shoulder should lie flatter, because now you've extended the spine in the twist. Right hip away from right armpit. You can also be here with the legs crossed. I like to put a block under my knee. And then to the other side, feet to the floor, hips lift, move the hips over to the left side of your mat. Knees into your belly. Exhale the knees over to the right. So you're working with the breath. Your left shoulder will lift. So then curl your shoulders towards the wall. And then gently reach that left shoulder down. Lift the left knee if you need to. Look up, hip in line with the nose. Otherwise move your hip back towards the left. You can take the eagle wrap legs, use a block, or maybe your knee comes to the floor. Looking towards the left hand so the twist goes all the way up into the neck spine, but you don't want to crank the neck. The neck should be like a little flourish on the top of a twist. And then come back. Last little thing, take your hands behind the back of the legs, flex through the feet, so you can hold here. You can also have the knees bent again. Draw the legs towards you. Squeeze up and down the hamstrings. Give yourself a little massage. Now you're just gonna, this is a great way to do Shavasana after your back bending. You can put that towel or blanket under your lower back. So the easiest way to get into this is to sit to the side of your mat, your hip touching the wall, and then you roll onto your back and your legs go up. Press your heels into the wall. Take that blanket underneath. And there you go. Shoulder blades underneath you. Take any hair tie out if it's distorting your neck. And then your job is just to soften. Even though the legs are reaching up, allow them to release as much as possible. Relax the arms, relax the shoulders. Soften through the belly. As you inhale, think of the word inhale. As you exhale, think of the word exhale. Inhale as you inhale. Exhale as you exhale. Trying to keep your mind focused. Every time you find yourself wandering off into dialogue, which the brain does, so try not to judge yourself for that. Just catch the thought. Let the thought go immediately. Just like a cat waiting outside of a mouse hole for the mouse to pop out. You catch it as soon as you can. And then release the thought from the mind. Come back to the words inhale, exhale. And every time you exhale, see if you can drop more into the earth. Relax the forehead, jaw, outer corners of the eyes, widen down to the temples. Bring your knees in towards your belly, and you're just gonna bring your right arm alongside your ear. Roll onto your right side. And you just want to take a moment here so you don't get up too quickly and feel dizzy. letting the blood come back to the feet. The blood to release from the head, the face. Keeping the head relaxed so the nervous system stays soft. Come to sit on your blanket. Change opposite leg in front so you don't get into any habits. You're always using both sides of the body. Stack your head on top of the spine, shoulder blades on the back. Scan your body from head to toe and just notice how you feel after all that heart opening. Hopefully you feel more energized. Put your hands together in front of your heart. We're going to close with 3 arms. Take a deep breath in. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May you have peace in your body, peace in your mind, and perfect spiritual peace for all. Namaste. So thank you for joining us here at Be More Yogic. My name's Amanda D. Have a beautiful day.